The fog settled over Blackthorn Cemetery, a sprawling burial ground that housed centuries of the dead. It was a place of eerie beauty by day and ominous whispers by night. No one anticipated that the place would become the epicenter of an outbreak that defied both logic and history. It began with a rumble beneath the earth, like a deep exhalation from the bowels of the graveyard. Gravedigger Marcus Woods was the first to notice it while patrolling the grounds. He brushed it off as a minor tremor, but when he saw the first skeletal hand burst through the soil, he froze. What emerged was no ordinary corpse. It was an emaciated figure clad in tattered armor, its rusted sword clutched tightly. Its empty eye sockets burned with a faint blue light. The medieval plague-bringers had risen. The plague-bringers were relentless. Their bodies were gaunt, the remnants of a life marred by starvation and disease. But their skeletal frames belied their strength. They carried medieval weapons, axes, swords, and flails, each attack drenched in pestilence. A single scratch from their rusted blades left survivors feverish, their wounds blackened as if touched by the Black Death itself. The survivors quickly learned to keep their distance. Clara, a former soldier, rallied the group with her sharp instincts. "Keep them at bay. Their weapons are worse than their bites." Just as the survivors began to hold their ground, another wave emerged. This time, the dead were clad in dusty top hats, corsets, and lace, zombies from the Victorian era. These silent stalkers moved with unsettling grace, their pale, bloated forms whispering the echoes of an age long past. What made them truly terrifying was their cunning. They used the fog to their advantage, blending into the mist and striking with eerie precision. Some of them carried strange relics: a parasol with a sharpened tip, a cane concealing a blade. Their bites were venomous, causing paralysis rather than infection. At dawn, the ground near the older tombstones heaved and cracked. Out crawled soldiers from the Revolutionary War, their uniforms in tatters but their determination intact. These zombies, dubbed the Revolutionary Ravagers, were brutal and coordinated, acting as if they still remembered their battle drills. They were armed with bayonets and muskets that somehow worked, firing crude rounds that exploded on impact. One survivor, tech-savvy Rob, marveled at their archaic tactics. "It's like we're fighting history itself," he muttered as he rigged a makeshift barricade using old tombstones. The cemetery's newer sections unleashed the roaring cadavers, zombies from the 1920s. Dressed in flapper dresses and pinstriped suits, these undead were disturbingly fast, as if fueled by the jazz and excess of their time. They moved in erratic bursts, their skeletal smiles and twitchy limbs making them unpredictable. Some carried remnants of their era's decadence. A zombie flapper swung a jagged champagne bottle, while a mobster zombie used a broken Tommy gun as a crude club. Their attacks were frenetic, their guttural growls punctuated by haunting laughter. By nightfall, the survivors were holed up in the cemetery's central mausoleum, a towering structure that offered a momentary reprieve. Outside, the dead from different centuries clashed, their conflicts fueled by ancient rivalries. Clara and the group devised a desperate plan. "We'll use their differences against them," she said, pointing to the feuding zombies outside. "Let them destroy each other." Using firecrackers and strategically placed noise traps, they lured the hordes into open areas where medieval plague-bringers clashed with roaring cadavers and Revolutionary Ravagers took on the silent stalkers. The chaos was breathtaking, a brutal tableau of history gone mad. As dawn approached, the survivors emerged from the mausoleum, battered but alive. The cemetery was littered with the remains of centuries-old battles. Clara surveyed the aftermath, her jaw tight. "We survived the night," she said, "but what about tomorrow?" A distant rumble answered her question. From the cemetery's oldest, most weathered crypt, a new wave of the undead stirred. Something ancient, something primal. The siege was far from over.